Angels are aliens. If we can come together and put our collective consciousness, we can avoid the end times. You know what I'm talking about? There is a prophetic war that are trying to bring on the Armageddon. So we're going to start with Diana Polsulka. She does work to tie religious texts to UFOs. She works with this guy, Tim Taylor, known as the Dragon. He sits in SpaceX, NASA, watches all the launches. He's super involved in the UFO community, goes to the Vatican, different kingdoms. Very credible guy, so she's not a whack job. But in 2 Kings, Matthew, Mark, Acts 1, they talk about chariots of fire, clouds of heaven. It's freaking super. If you just use UFO instead of those terms, it all makes sense. Exodus is when the Israelites are getting taken from Egypt out, and they follow this glowing cloud that gives them shade and light at night for 38 years. And in Daniel 10, he finds a glowing topaz being with torches for eyes. If you've ever seen the Virginia, Brazil incident, you know that they all talk about this 3-foot tall alien with glowing red eyes. Then we get to Chris Bledsoe. He has this river experience that's super eye-opening. Jumping in here for some context, Chris Bledsoe at the river sees these 2 glowing orbs. He's like freaking out. He tries to run away, but then he loses like 4 hours of his time. It's traumatizing for his son, but over the next like 20 or so years, he does hypnosis to remember things, and he has this experience with dogs where he finds one of these 3-foot tall beings with red eyes, and then he gets back and he smokes a cigarette and he sees one of these 7-foot tall beings with who's glowing. Essentially, they took him on a journey to see Egypt, to see the entire globe over the Midwest, and they were helping him understand that they're here to help. And that's the same message that he got from that 3-foot tall being when he went out to go chase dogs. Chris Bledsoe has a ton of connections with the Pentagon, with the DOD, with NASA. They got Congress people going to his fucking house. They're asking him about his ideas, about his experiences. So if you think he's just a lunatic, you're wrong, because there's a lot of people in high places who care what he thinks. And that is another fucking line. This Epstein class are doing rituals and they're sacrificing things to Moloch and Baal. Like, you don't think this other end of it exists? All right, sorry, back to the show. He has 5 years of darkness. Everybody is fucking ridiculing him. He's having a big old problem trying to convince people. The church is kicking him out. Social services at his door. And he interacts with this lady of light after the fact, who basically is like, dude, keep going. We're going to have some fun here. That's her message in 2012. In 2013, she says that when Iran and Israel fire missiles at each other, there's 2 paths. It's either the people in power are going to start to push the apocalypse and kind of script it into existence to bring back Jesus, or the other path is that you convince people that you can believe in the light and expel darkness out. She goes like, I'm going to help you do that, by the way. So what happens then is in April and October of 2024, Operation True Promise starts. That's when Israel and Iran first start exchanging missiles. And what happens later in November? Orbs and drones are everywhere, all over the world. You can see them in different countries, and specifically in New Jersey, everywhere. And so I say all that because there's these messages that have been given in binary code that have happened in the 1978 Rendlesham Forest and Crabwood Crop Circle. I'm going to read this one first. It says, beware the bearers of false gifts and their broken promises, much pain, but still time. Believe there is good out there. We oppose deception, conduit closing. Look at this picture. Tell me that's fucking fake. So Rendlesham Forest, this guy basically has this experience with a UFO. He's a military dude. He goes and touches this craft with hieroglyphics on it. It downloads like a ton of different binary code to his brain. For 30 years, he doesn't tell a soul. He has dreams, reoccurring dreams every single night. Until one night, 2008, he writes 18 pages of ones and zeros that give him coordinates to these locations, which are all on these ley lines, which are the positive and negative frequencies of like energy, yin and yang. And the ancients used pyramids and obelisks to tune those ley lines. So for instance, there's a negative version of this, which in Carousel, Belize, is where you start to see like the Bermuda Triangle, but then there's also like the positive, like the Great Pyramids of Giza. That was like the basis of this ley line theory. Sedona, Arizona, a lot of people all over the world bring their like soil there to connect different dimensions and things like that. The Nazca Lines, Peru, is where those 3-foot tall freaking 3-fingered mummies are coming from, which again just goes back to all of that, right? And they say exploration of humanity 666-8100, coordinates to High Brazil. This is like an imaginary or an old island that used to be off the coast of Ireland that's no longer there. Is in a lot of old maps. People might think this is Atlantis, right? It's in the Atlantic Ocean. It's underwater now. The eyes of your eyes, origin High Brazil, origin 8100. If you go back 8100 years from today, that's just when ancient Mesopotamia is getting started, and that's ancient Sumeria, Anunnaki. So I say all of this because when this lady of light is telling us there's 2 paths, we can either choose to let the people in power drive us into the apocalypse, or we can connect to God, to our collective consciousness, which is all of us. We are all God. We are all part of this. And the aliens are not the aliens that they've taught us to believe in. They're not these extraterrestrials. They've been here the entire time because they're the angels from the Bible, and they're fractals of our consciousness, which is why they can read our minds and telepathically talk to us. So I'm asking you, it's crazy enough as it sounds, believe, because 2026 is the time of awakening, and once Regulus, the star in Leo, is over the Sphinx, that is when they'll start to reveal themselves to us, and people are saying that's October 7th, 5:30 a.m., 2026. Let me know what you think.